Hello my dear friends, my name is Sanne and welcome back to another beauty video. Today I have a little bit of a different type of video for you because we're gonna look at some different products that I got in and we're gonna swatch them and compare them and, you know, have a look at them. So today I'm gonna talk about some beautiful ombre blushes, and when I say I've been eyeing these for a while, I mean a while. I think like literally since they came out, which was somewhere in 2021. I included these blushes in my 2021 Christmas wishlist video even, so I've been thinking about these for a long time. And this is a courtesy of my friend Beauty and the Beaker on YouTube. I'll link her down below again. She sent these over to me and she also helped me pick some out because I was talking to her about the Moira blushes, which is the blushes we're going to talk about today. The Moira Ombre Blushes. And I've been eyeing these for a while, so I told her and she was like, just pick a few shades. And also there's a different brand called Kokie that has similar ombre gradient blushes. So why don't you just pick those out and you can compare the formulas. So that's what we're gonna do today. We're just gonna, you know, compare the packaging, the look, the formula, the way they perform, and we're just gonna have a little bit of a look at them. So I have all four here and let's quickly take a look. So I have four blushes here. We have two blushes by Moira and two blushes by Kokie. From Moira they're called the Signature Ombre Blush. This is the one I saw first and that I really wanted to try. And then from Kokie we have the Soft Gradient Blush. But these are kind of similar. Also the color range from each brand was very similar. The only difference that I found was that Kokie also has a few shimmer formulas, which Moira doesn't have. That was really interesting, so I also picked one of the shimmer blushes just so I could try those out. And then I did pick different shades of each one because, you know, I want to compare them, but I also want to use the blushes and I don't want two of the exact same ones, you know? So I did pick four different shades. So these are the packagings. I think both of these packagings are really cute. I feel like the Moira ones do fit the blush a bit better, like you know what's in here, and with the Kokie one that's not really the case, but they're still really nice. Also with the Kokie ones, the side colors fit the colors of the blush that is inside. So let's just open these up. I like that the Moira ones have the same kind of pattern that is inside the blush also on the packaging. So let's open this one up so we can have a look at it. So the first one we have here is the Moira Signature Ombre Blush in number 4, Morning Sunshine. And this one is absolutely gorgeous. This was one that I absolutely fell in love with the first time I saw it. So this is like an orangey to bright pink ombre, and look at that beautiful print that is in there. That is just gorgeous. I almost feel like I don't want to swatch them or touch them because they're just so pretty. And then from Moira we also have the Signature Ombre Blush in number 8, Soft Berry, which is just a beautiful, more muted brown berry tone. That gradient is beautiful, as well as the imprint again. The packaging is quite simple, but I feel like it fits the blush because this blush just speaks for itself. It doesn't really need anything else around it. It just has the name and the brand on the back, basically. And then for the Kokie ones, I got two quite similar shades, but I did get a shimmer blush. This is the shimmer blush. So let's take a look at that. This is number 10, called Crushing. You can see the packaging is a bit different from the Moira ones. This one has golden packaging on the bottom. I'm not the biggest fan of that, but that's just personal preference. I'm just not a fan of gold in general. So that's just me. As you can see, the imprint is a bit different, but the idea is the same. So we have a bit of a gradient and an imprint. This one doesn't have that big of a gradient, but it also might be because it's a shimmer blush and the formula is just different. This one has some beautiful flowers and an elephant in there that's similar to the front of the packaging, so that's really nice. And then the final one that we have is number 5, Tender, which is a really lovely bright orange to red shade. I love orange blushes, and as you can see, this one has a lot of a clearer gradient than this one going on. Like it's a lot brighter, a lot more obvious that there's a gradient. And also the pattern just works a bit better in the matte one. But I think that's really only because of the shimmer formula and nothing else. So yeah, it's beautiful. I think both of them are really beautiful. As you can tell, I don't really have any shades between the two different brands that are similar. So just the shades are going to be different. I'm not going to compare shades, but I do want to try and compare formulas a bit and just the look. I do feel like the Moira ones are a bit more detailed, but the Kokie ones are just as beautiful. I feel like the Moira packaging feels a bit more sturdy. That might just be me, and also I'm just not a big fan of the gold edge that the Kokie blushes have. But in general, they both look absolutely beautiful, and I don't know which one I'd pick just looking at them. So we have the 4 different blushes here. I just wanted to try and compare formulas a bit, see if the ingredients are a bit different. Oh, that one. They have a big bright sticker on it. Here, as you can see the difference, I don't know if it's clear, but the ingredients state, like the ingredients per shade, and the Kokie blushes only state 2 shades, while the Moira blushes state 3 shades, which is quite clear. Like you have one shade, a middle blending shade, and then the bottom shade, same here, and here you just have orange or orange and red. So there is technically just one shade more in the Moira blushes, but I think it just makes the gradient look a bit nicer, especially for these shades that are so different. I don't know if this is the case for all Moira shades. From what I can see, the formulas are quite similar. They're just at different concentrations. Like there are the same products in there, just higher up on their list or lower on the list. So just the specific formula is a tiny bit different. That's what I can make of this. I almost don't want to do it, but I think it's time to swatch the shades. I don't really want to touch them, but you know, for the video. I'm gonna start with the Moira ones. I think I'm gonna try to get the 2 different shades in the pan, as well as get a mixed shade, you know. I'm just gonna swatch that. Ooh, that one is pigmented. And the middle shade. It's a soft pink, and then you want a bright, bright pink over there. Also, my arm is dry, so these are dry swatches. If this were eyeshadow, I wouldn't be happy about this pigment, but also this is blush. You don't really need blush to be extremely pigmented because you'll mess up. So I think this is fine, to me at least. And then let's swirl. Oh, I'm ruining the print. God. It's like the bright pink, it gets most of the bright pink, but it's just a tiny bit toned down because of the peachy shade. Now, as you can see, some of the colors have transferred to other parts of the pan, which is a bit too bad, but we're gonna use the blushes anyway. So they will probably look like a bit messy after a while. And then the next one, the berry shades. This is just a really light pink. Bit of an in-betweeny. Bit of a mauve shade, and then I'll get a really dark berry. That's nice. That is a really unique shade actually. I don't think I have any blush like this in my collection. And then again, let's swirl them together. Oh, this just hurts, you know. Let's put that one over here. And see, it mostly grabs from the deeper shade, which is to be expected, but it's just a nice berry type shade. I like that. I think we have space here for the Kokie blushes. I think we do. I'm gonna start with this one because that's also a matte. This is the shade Tender. I'm just gonna do the 2 shades again. So let's start with the orange one. Ooh, that one's bright. Really bright. That is bright orange. I love that. And then we'll do the red one. And let's swirl them together a bit. Which makes approximately the inner shade. There's some pigment there, definitely. And then the final one, which I'm really interested in because it's a shimmer one. I don't think there's a big difference between like the top and the bottom. Oh, that's really, really shimmery. Don't know if you can tell. There we have the 3 shades. I don't think there's a big difference between these 3. Let me just get you a close-up of the different shades. looking like this, it seems like the Kokie ones have a lot more pigment. What really matters is how they perform on the face, because if they're going to be too pigmented, they're going to be maybe hard to blend or whatever. So we're going to give them all a try on my face. Yeah, these are the swatches. So these first ones again are Soft Berry. Then we have 4 of Morning Sunshine by Moira, this entire row. And then we have Tender by Kokie and Crushing by Kokie. Yeah, so these are all the swatches of the blushes. I'm quite impressed actually, they're really pigmented. So let's try them on the face now just to see how they perform. So I also want to try these blushes on my face because of course that's what they're going to be used for. So I'm going to do 1 shade on each side. We're going to start with the Moira ones. I have an almost bare face, just a tiny bit of concealer, powder, eyebrow, mascara, that's it. So perfect blank canvas for some blushes. I'm going to start with the Moira ones. And I'm going to start with number 4, which is Morning Sunshine. Just going to grab a smaller blush brush. Ooh, they're very powdery. When I dip the brush in, like immediately a ton of powder just gets loose. So keep that in mind. And they're quite pigmented, so I need to be careful with that. You can tell that I have some more peach up here and some more pink up there. So, but this is a lot of pigment. I think I should leave it with this and just blend this out. They blend quite easily actually. Just gonna do an over the top blush look, I guess. So that is nice and pink. It's just a nice bit of soft baby pink vibe, you know? I think you can definitely see the peachy side coming through. So that is Morning Sunshine. So now let's try out Soft Berry. And I'm just gonna swirl it softly, I guess. But again, it's an extremely powdery formula. Powder gets free immediately. Okay. I put too much. I used too much. I've made a mistake. I've made a terrible mistake. I was warned for this, but still. Also, like, I can just add in some more of the lighter shades. Just blend it out a bit. God, I made a mistake. I made a mistake. But this is very nice. That is a lovely shade. I have a darker spot over here. This one is blending less well than the other one. But you really only need like a slight few dips. That's it. I've gone a bit overboard. I know that. I am aware. The shade might be a bit like too dark for me, too deep, but I think this might be good for more editorial looks or maybe in summer after I hopefully gain a tiny bit of a tan. This is more of an everyday shade for me. I always feel like after you add blush to your nose, it just feels more balanced. I look absolutely ridiculous. God. You only need like half a dip for this one. I feel like I look like a Christmas elf. I must say this one blends just a tiny bit less well, but it's also, I think, because it just has so much more deeper pigment in it. And this one is just a lot softer. Let's not look at my nose. It just feels more like a natural blush to me. So I'm going to take this off and then we can try out the Kokie ones. So for the Kokie ones I'm a bit scared because I already went overboard with the Moira ones and these seemed so much more pigmented on the swatches. So I'm a bit nervous. I feel like I'm gonna overdo it. I'm gonna start with the matte one, which is Tender. Beautiful. I'm just gonna do one quick swirl. There's so much on here already. It's nice and orange. I like it. I'm not wearing foundation, so there's a lot of redness in my skin right now. So it looks a bit weird because we're matching like more cool toned oranges with my very, very pink toned cheeks. So please don't mind that. That's my fault. My skin's fault, I don't know. But this is really nice and orange. I'm applying way too much again, but I just want to get the color across right now. That's more it. This one blends pretty well. I like it. I applied way too much, don't mind me. I'm just clowning today. We're just clowning today. And then we have the final one, which is Crushing. And I'm just really curious how this looks because it's a shimmery blush. Okay, this one is a lot less pigmented to apply. Or I'm just not seeing it. I think that's more the issue. I'm just not seeing it because the reflection, it's making it look lighter. But that's just the shimmer in it. So there's a lot more color on here already. Color is quite similar to the matte one. The matte one is a tiny bit more orange. I'm just over applying right now, but we'll get used to these eventually. But now you can at least see the color. You can tell that it's pretty shiny. Just move this one over here so hopefully you can see it better. It's like pretty shiny because it looks like I've already applied highlighter on top. Like a really soft subtle highlighter. I do think I still need to apply it. They're literally looking ridiculous. I do like this one. You really only need one dip, I think, for your entire face. So look how shiny my nose is now. Now I look like Rudolph. I officially look ridiculous, but that's fine. Now we know what all the shades look like. And I'm enjoying these. I don't know yet which formula I like best. I feel like I mentioned before, way too much pigment can also be detrimental to a blush because it just makes it a bit harder to apply. As you can see, like there's so much going on right now. This is way too much. I do really like the color, but it's just a bit too much. So I really need to get used to this formula, and I feel like the Moira ones are a bit less pigmented, so a bit easier to work with, but also I feel like these ones blend a tiny bit better. But in general, the formulas are quite similar, so I think it's just kinda whatever you prefer. I do think I like the Moira packaging better, it's just more my vibe. I'm just not really a big fan of the gold in the Kokie blushes. Plus, I like the pattern in the Moira ones better and the gradient. But in general, I think color-wise and formula-wise, there's not that big of a difference. But if you want the shimmer blush, you can only go to Kokie because Moira doesn't have any of these blushes in the shimmer formula. So, but you can also tell that this formula is a bit different. It's softer. Also, when you're swatching it, it just feels a bit more moist, more like shimmers do. And the mattes feel a bit more drier. So you can tell that this is a tiny bit of a different formula than the other ones. Right now I think I might like this one the best together with this one, just because those are more shades that I can wear on a daily basis, and the other ones are just so pigmented I really need to get used to them first before I can regularly use them, or they're just gonna be from like my over-the-top editorial looks. But yeah, we'll see. I do like the colors that I picked. I like them a lot. And the packaging is absolutely beautiful. Let me know what you think. Let me know which one of these you think look nicer, perform nicer. Have you tried them yourself? I'm really curious to hear your opinion on them. I want to thank you for watching this little bonus video. If you enjoyed, please give this video a thumbs up. Subscribe to my channel if you want to see more from me. If you want to see even more from me, my blog, my socials, my gaming channel, and everything else you need to know about me is all linked down below so you can check it out as well. And that's gonna be it for me today. I want to thank you for watching, and I'll see you next time. Toodles!